Samsung's new Galaxy S26 Ultra may be mere weeks away, and I've got a few things I especially want to see. In my 14 years as a CNET reviewer, I have tested every Galaxy Ultra model going, including the latest S25 Ultra. I've taken countless photos, played loads of games, scrolled through endless images of cake on Instagram. So I've learned a thing or two about what makes these phones good, but also how they can be improved. So with the 26 Ultra almost upon us, here's what I want to see Samsung do. Samsung's Ultra phones have always been up there with the best when it comes to taking photos. They excel with nighttime imagery, and they were among the first phones to really wow us with zoom lenses. But the camera hardware hasn't really changed all that much in the last few generations, and it's starting to feel like Samsung needs to go big. The Xiaomi 14 Ultra blew me away with its photography skills, and a lot of that is down to the much larger image sensor that it uses for its main camera. It's bigger than the sensors used in almost any other phone camera, and as a result, it can capture better looking images with better dynamic range. I love the photos I've been able to take with Xiaomi's recent phones, and I would love to see Samsung go that little bit further to make its cameras even better for pro photographers like myself. And sure, the zoom is good, and the extra resolution on the ultra-wide camera on the most recent model is a fine addition, I guess. But slap in a much bigger image sensor that truly allows me to take photos that look like they were captured on a mirrorless camera, and now we're talking Samsung. And while we're on the topic of cameras, let's talk filters. Samsung's cameras do already have a variety of filters pre-installed that allow you to change up the color toning and the exposure in your photos. And they work pretty well. They're basically on a par with Apple's photographic styles. Unlike photographic styles, you can change the intensity of the look that you're creating and even decide to change those settings after you've taken the image. Samsung also has a tool that allows you to create your own color filters based on the colors seen in a different photo. And yeah, sometimes it works pretty well. What you can't do is then share that preset for other photographers to use. And that's where I think Samsung is missing a trick. There is a small sort of store tucked away where you can download a handful of extra photo presets. But if Samsung opened up the ability for users to actually share their own presets, it would quickly build up this community of enthusiastic photographers who are all sharing their different styles. As a result, those photographers are going to want to stay with Samsung's phones. Samsung could replicate the success that Fujifilm has seen with its cameras. Fujifilm shooters can create style recipes that they can then easily share with other photographers who can simply key in that recipe into their camera and immediately start shooting using that same look. As a result, Fujifilm has this huge, very passionate fan base who will bore you endlessly at a party about how great their camera is because of all these filmic looks that it can use. So Samsung kind of has a good opportunity to create something similar for its phones. The S25 Ultra might be an absolute powerhouse of a phone, but it's also massive. At 6.9 inches, it requires thumbs the size of redwood trees to be able to type on one-handed. Slide it into your skinny jeans, and you're going to get an embarrassing bulge in places where you don't really want an embarrassing bulge. And despite me being 6 foot 2 inches tall, I actually have relatively small hands, and personally I do not like using this phone on an everyday basis. It's why I use the smaller iPhone 17 Pro instead of the much larger 17 Pro Max. But unlike Apple, Samsung has only ever offered its best technology in one massive size. So it forces you to make this decision between pocketability and performance. But Apple doesn't. You can still get the same top performance, but in the smaller size. So I would love to see Samsung take a cue from Apple here. Take that high-powered processor and that incredible camera setup and squash it inside a smaller body phone. I would even be happy to see the S Pen stylus go to accommodate this. I never use the thing anyway. But while we're talking design choices, I would definitely like to see Samsung be a bit more experimental in the colors that it uses. Samsung did briefly flirt with orange on its S22 Ultra, but since then its colors have been more muted. Okay, sure, the S25 Ultra does come in various hues. It's not just black and silver. I kind of like the sort of bluey silver of this one, but all of the tones are very subtle. If I'm being generous, I would describe them as classy. If I was being not so generous, I'd describe them as boring. I do love the cosmic orange color of the iPhone 17 Pro. It doesn't take itself at all seriously, and why should we? Phones are fun accessories. I don't need some silver device to match my sharp business suit. I'm old enough to remember the Motorola Razr V3, which came in this vibrant hot pink colour, which I absolutely adored. My best friend Charlie had one and I was so envious. So if Samsung took that metallic hot pink from that phone and applied it to the S26 Ultra, I mean, I'll just throw my credit card right at them. The Galaxy S25 Ultra packs a 5000 mAh battery with 45 watt wired fast charging, which is fine, except that it's the same specs that the S22 Ultra had when it launched 4 years ago. Battery tech has really moved on a lot in the last 4 years. We're now seeing phones with silicon carbide batteries and well over 100 watts of wired fast charging. And sure, some of those fastest charging phones come from China and a lot of them aren't available in the US. But the OnePlus 15 is, and that has this massive 7300 mAh battery, and it offers at least 80 watt fast charging in the US. And sure, the S25 Ultra's battery is pretty decent, but with more modern battery technology being used on rival phones, it does kind of feel like it's time for Samsung to up its game here. I know I'm asking for a lot in this video, and if I got every single thing listed here, it would make the phone a lot more expensive. And while the S25 Ultra actually launched at the same price as the S24 Ultra, I don't think we're going to see that this time round. Between economic fluctuations, tariffs, and the ongoing RAM shortage, which is making components more expensive, the S26 Ultra is expected to be more expensive. If it's not, we're likely going to see a compromise in some of the specs to compensate. But I'm hoping that Samsung is going to be able to keep this to a minimum and not use economic fluctuations as an opportunity to ramp the price up more than is strictly necessary. These phones are great, and I hope that we don't see them being out of reach for anyone who isn't an oil baron. So those are the things that I want to see on the S26 Ultra. Do you have your own ideas? Make sure to leave them in the comments below and check out the video description for a lot more information.